All right, well, welcome back to the iWealth podcast, and today we're joined by Mr. Brad Connors, and today we're talking in particular about $400,000 houses, and that's kind of a common number in the middle of the Midwest for a lot of the houses that are here, and just all of the complexity that goes along with that number.
Yeah, Matt, it's so interesting. We were talking earlier, like off camera, about just how expensive it is to enter. And you read the Wall Street Journal and these economists talk about, we just don't have the houses out there. And so you got this supply demand issue, and prices have went up. It used to be you'd buy a $50,000 house when you and I were looking, or 75, and now it's a $250,000 house. Like, it's kind of crazy. And then you look at rent at $2,000 a month, for rent. It's just, these numbers are high, and it's a big portion of your salary. Like, you looked at your income to your expense ratio when it comes to living expenses. They used to want it like at 30%. Well, that number continues to creep up when it gets expensive to own, But I just recently went through this with a client. We talked about buying a home, and it was for their son, and it was a $300,000 house. And so, first-time home buyer, you need to have 10% down. So 30 grand, you got to have it saved. You don't want to borrow it out of your 401k. You don't want to borrow it from mom and dad. Like, you need to save and have that $30,000 that's there. But, oh, by the way, you just don't have 30 because you have closing costs. And so you got to get the appraisal, and you got to play points and all this other stuff. Just factor on a $300,000 house, probably another $6,000. So now you need $36,000 saved. Call it $35,000, $36,000. So before you go out to the bank to buy this house, you first have to have that set aside somewhere.
Yep.
And so open your bank account, open your brokerage account, start putting some money aside, call it house. And if it's a $300,000 house, have $35,000 sitting there. Now, once you go buy the house, if you look at today's interest rates, not 3%, today's interest rates at 6.5%. If you look at borrowing $300,000, not $270, because you'd put money down, it's around $2,100. $2,100 a month would be your payment, and that's taxes, insurance, that's all that stuff in there. Well, go up to Minneapolis and rent a place for $2,500. So maybe it's more affordable to build some equity and to buy a house and put your 10% down and get it done, But that's are some concepts, I think, that are going through people's heads.
It's just a tricky thing, People keep waiting for the down market, and the reality is it's probably not coming.
And especially like in the Midwest here, like, we're pretty more stable. Like, it doesn't peak and valley as much. Doesn't go up as fast, but doesn't come down. Like, I think on the East Coast, Florida, for instance, like, things are sitting on the market a long time now. So it's beginning to be a little bit more of a buyer's market. But they're still expensive places that you're buying.
Yep.
So I think people really need to figure out, first of all, you got to get the savings account started.
Yep. You
don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to go buy a house. Like, you need to get some money saved so you can walk in there, have some leverage. Then if you had to get out of the house for some reason, at least your 10% would buy you some cushion if the market backed off or something like that, and you wouldn't be underwater.
Yeah.
But look at it for what your rent payment is. You can deduct that for taxes. Look at what your house payment is, because you're building equity when you buy a house and you're able to do it. So, I would take the house over the rent, but I also don't want someone to buy it and then sell it 6 months later, because nobody wins in there except the people that are charging the fees on the loan and everything else that's there too. So hopefully that helps, but I think it's good for people to kind of understand that concept and look at it through that lens.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we will see you back here next time on the iWealth podcast.
All right. Thanks, Matt.